The second part of our look back at the 1997 Lions tour of South Africa begins in Cape Town, venue for the first test. The atmosphere at Newlands was electric. The world champion Springboks expected to crush their visitors, but deep inside the stadium, the Lions had other ideas.
My memories of that first test was really more in the changing rooms, just thinking, we've got more than a chance. We can win this. Just looking at John and thinking, there's no way that guy's going to let us lose.
Up against them was a South African side brimming with world-class talent and very much ready for a battle.
Honor Ball at 10, Juice van der Westhuizen at 9, they were great players. Teichmann at 8, and that James Small, of course, who ended up marking, who was, he was a bit of a firecracker, he liked to sort of rev it all up.
The main worry for the Lions was the power of Os Durant and his fellow forwards.
We knew we would never beat the Springboks in the scrums, but if we got parity, equality, we would do all right.
Keith Woods would probably remember that the first scrum in that test, we went back at a rate of knots because the front row hit at the wrong height. And they hit South African height, and we got boomed.
And that power translated into the first try, Durant powering over. It was looking ominous for the tourists. The Lions kept in touch with penalties, but when the Springboks struck again after half-time, they seemed poised to accelerate away. A young English scrum half, though, had other ideas.
We were in charge. John, myself and Gary Teichmann fell for Matt Dawson's dummy. I'll never forget it, because I fell for a dummy, and after that, never ever again. But yeah, and that cost us a lot.
I was lucky enough to sort of finish the game off in the corner. Took it off Jenks, put it down, and we knew that was game, set and match really for the first test.
By the end of the first test, we knew we were in with a chance, but we knew we would get a backlash.
The second test was in Durban, and the South African public expected a much improved performance from their team.
We had the senior guys come in and say, listen, okay, now we have to focus, prepare, let's calm down, stick to the basics. Let's just sharpen up our discipline, sharpen up our defence, and take it from there.
Van der Westhuizen did exactly that as South Africa tore into the Lions. But with Welsh fullback Jenkins in superlative kicking form, neither side was able to break clear. Percy Montgomery, making his debut, edged the Springboks ahead.
We couldn't score any tries, they couldn't kick any penalties. It was a match made in heaven.
Scott Gibbs' barrelling run through Durant proved to be an inspirational moment for the Lions.
He was a big lad, and yeah, definitely a strong runner. If you don't size him up properly, and if you don't get him a bit out of the blind, then it's hard taking him down.
The relentless Jenkins ensured the Lions kept in touch, despite little possession or territory.
Jenks' kicking is immaculate, and them 3 points kept chipping away at the South Africans, and we were always on the tails.
It wasn't a game where we were ever think we're going to lose a game, and it was always you feel like feeling control, except if you look up to the scoreboard, you know that you're not in control.
With the scores tied, Irish hooker Keith Wood took matters into his own hands. His charge brought the Lions on a rare visit to South Africa's 22. Guscott was already thinking, drop goal.
I think I tried one in the first test, actually. And looking at some of the playbacks from the old footage, you've got that Telford Connor is in the stadium going, "Oh, Guscott, you fool." And for some reason, Gregor Townsend took a ball into contact. I mean, that's that's like me taking it into contact. That shouldn't happen. Honor Ball was charging up. I stopped it, slipped it through, and it's over in a flash.
From Jerry's drop goal to the end of the game was, I think, the longest 4 or 5 minutes in my life.
You had to walk into that change room to see what sort of game you'd been in when players took their shirts off. It was honestly unbelievably frightening.
Battered and bruised the tourists may have been, but they joined the 1974 team as the only Lions to win in South Africa in the modern era.
We'd won the Test series, and whilst the elation, I mean, we must have been 3 million feet high, coupled with the sadness of thinking to myself, why Guscott? Why, of all the players, why Guscott?
All the credit to them, they won, and it was phenomenal to play against them and to be part of the Lions' history.